Welcome back, everyone. We are getting into week 5 of CLOL. Today we're going to have Tarleton versus UAB, I believe. Let me double check on that. Yes, the Blazers. So it looks like they already got started in draft. I did join a little bit late, but thankfully we're here to catch the rest of what's going on here. But so far, looks like on the left blue side we got Orin, Nami, and Lucian banned from our Texans, and then on the Blazers side, they got one hand banned Melo Vigar, Zaheen, Yon, and try to see their last ban real quick. Set. So it looks like they kind of focused Bjorddd there at the last 3 picks, unless we've been practicing Zaheen jungle, but I know he can also Bjorddd can play him in the top lane. While Tarleton, they went ahead and banned some bot lane. They don't want to go against that. We did see a Lucian Nami combo in the first week of CLOL, I believe, so just not wanting to repeat against that. Besides that, we see the team comps come together. Tarleton, they have the Mordekaiser, Zinzao, Zareth, Ziggs, and Karma. So they are a little heavy on the AP. I mean, I guess it isn't too bad as they are playing into Malphite. Should force Malphite to build more MR instead of armor. Should make him a little bit weaker. At the same time, Lububa as the sole AD should allow him to really do that damage since everyone is going to have to focus on building MR. It'll be very interesting this game to kind of see how the teams build around each comp. I mean, very interesting on the Blazers side. They do have a Twisted Fate ADC. At least I assume that's what that's going to be. So yeah, just to talk about their comp. Got Malphite top, Nocturne jungle, Orianna mid, Twisted Fate Milio bot. Now, the big thing about Twisted Fate is having that gold card, which, especially whenever it's upgraded, it eventually becomes a 3-second stun, I want to say, if not a 2.5-second stun. And that can be long enough to easily pick someone out. Normally really good into ADCs. However, we have seen Gimmick Ziggs be able to play extremely safe and be able to use his W and almost maximize it to keep him alive from either ganks or just keep the enemy away in the laning phase. So I feel like that lane's going to be very interesting to see, but normally when you do have 2 APCs, it's normally a lot of farming. However, you never know with these games. You never know if the Blazers want to try and make some plays happen or if Tarleton wants to make their own plays happen. I mean, we have seen Val the Grand on this Karma pick quite a few times now. So far it's been kind of hit and miss. It can either really dominate in laning phase or it can get dominated. So we're going to have to see where Val stands today. See if he'll be able to rise to the occasion or not. Besides that, Bjorddd on the Mordekaiser. That champion's really good, especially for these dragons. We have seen Tarleton really step up their dragon game this semester. Been able to claim a lot more. And I feel like that's a lot attributed towards either just playing an early game, or they'll sometimes give like the initial few dragons, but they really have come together, and especially by that 3rd dragon, they'll full send it with 5 people. And that Mordekaiser, if he's able to ult away the jungler, and if they started the dragon, well, without a smite, Tarleton should be able to easily secure it. I will say Blazers have a really team fight heavy comp, so they're going to be wanting to look for these team fights. That Orianna, Malphite, Nocturne, they all have ultimates that can really play off of each other's very well. I feel like their main combo is probably going to be a Nocturne ult with to send in with the Orianna ult, and then followed up with the Malphite once they're all shockwaved in. And then of course the Twisted Fate's just there to help get any picks or anything like that. I feel like there could have been definitely some ADCs this game. That could have been really strong for the Blazers. Unless they are going AD Twisted Fate, but even then, I feel like Misfortune could have been insane for their team comp. But we'll have to see how they play it with this pick. Just talking more about Tarleton's comp. They have a lot of good poke. You know, Zareth mid lane. We have seen this pick before. It's really good at wave clear, and it's good at that long-range ultimate. I know last time we saw it, I want to say it was with the Ziggs as well. Maybe it wasn't, but I do know their ults can almost stack on top of each other to really gun down anyone. Get a lot of poke in before these team fight. So I feel like Tarleton, they're really going to have to, if they want to start an objective, they're going to have to poke them down before they fully commit. Because they have to be really fearful of getting one shot. But I know Xinjiao really good at that with his ultimate. He can't take damage unless they're inside of that circle, which makes him really good into these long range comps where most of their damage dealers are long range, like the Orion Twist of Fate. The Nocturne he should be able to win the 1v1 with, and of course the Malphite's a tank, so surely he shouldn't have to worry about that too much, especially when Malphite's going to have to go a lot of MR this game. But as we get into this game, we're going to see how that plays out. Those are just my initial thoughts, kind of what I saw from the draft there. Sadly today, Cass will not be joining us. She is out of the state. She went on vacation, so just be with me today. That's alright, we'll have a good time here as we get into game 1. Both teams buying their items. Nocturne still deciding theirs. I'm going to go ahead and turn on some objective timers. We do love having that on. Tarleton, they went ahead and went with the triple TP here. And the Blazers did the exact same thing as well. So both teams looking to really just focus on farming, as well as just playing safer and be able to get to cross-map objectives or cross-map team fights. I feel like Twist of Fate doesn't really need the TP, as his ult can basically act as that. However, I guess they just want to get a lot early. Whenever I have played Twist of Fate ADC before, it is a fun pick, if you will. I feel like Ghost can be extremely good, as that can help guarantee a gold card, as well as just run away from a lot of the more dangerous members on Tarleton's side. But TP works just as well. Right now, it looks like Tarleton are finding some really good poke on the Twisted Fate, chunking him down. That's one thing you really got to do into a Twisted Fate, is abuse him early, deny as many minions as you can, because his passive, whenever he kills a minion, they'll roll randomly 1 through 6, like a dice, and he'll get extra gold from that. So occasionally, we will, I believe we can see it if we, yeah. So if you look down here in this bottom left corner, he's currently got an extra 13 gold. Of course, it is very small right now, as it's only a minute into the game, but we'll look at that occasionally to see how much extra gold he's getting. Typically, you'll see them, almost get their boots for free, or maybe a BF sword. And he did start the Cole, so he was wanting to go full-on farming. Only issue with that is into his Ziggs Karma, you're going to get poked down a lot. So the Dorn's Blade, or the Dorn's Shield even, might have been a little bit more beneficial just to survive these early levels and then pick up your Cole on your first base, but if he's able to live and not die from any ganks, this Cole might be good just to get that early advantage. Malphite already used all of his mana in the top lane. Bjorddd shouldn't have to be too scared, even though he is chunked to half. Malphite having no mana, he's really not going to have much damage. And Bjorddd can eventually just heal up with his W. Ooh, good trade in right there. He gets all of his abilities procced. Wanting to get that full shield activated to maximize the healing. And there, he's able to heal up a little bit, get his Conqueror procced, and he ends up having more HP than Malphite there, forcing him to reset. Most likely going to TP back. Yeah, he's already full sending that TP. Try not to miss anything. Oh, it's a black screen? Oh my goodness, I'm sorry, guys. I've been talking for 3 minutes. Holy moly. Alright, well, just in time for a beautiful gank. Thank you, Emao, for letting me know. As Labubu has ganked to the bot lane. Looks like he will get first blood. However, Oriana has sent the TP, and she's come down. Nocturne fearing Labubu back in the enemy team. So they will trade 1 for 1. Will Tarleton be able to make it out of here? Looks like they will. Nocturne, ooh, he's just dangerously low, but in the end, Valdegrand's gonna flash away. At least y'all came back in time to see that gank happen, the first kills of the game. So you didn't really miss much. Just a lot of yapping, I guess. Malphites did have to reset earlier, and now with that Oriana basing, they should allow Schlitten to get a little bit, catch up a little in the CS in the mid lane. It does look like Oriana is currently ahead. But I believe she just poked down Schlitten early on. But Labubu getting a kill, really important, as he is the only AD on Tarleton's side. They're really going to need that to stand against... it might force Blazers to build some armor instead of magic resist. That's where my train of thought was going. But besides that, everyone else pretty equal in farm. Looks like a fight's happening out in the mid lane. The Oriana poke is just making Schlitten back up. Everyone else just kind of chilling, nothing too crazy going on. Dragon has spawned, and we do see Labubu and Nocturne both pathing down towards the spot side. Definitely going to be where the next play is going to happen. I feel like Gimmick and Valor are doing a great job at poking, but this Milio is just able to keep Twisted Fate in lane. He also has the cookies, which are allowing him just to sustain longer and not have to reset as often. Bjorddd, so far, I know y'all didn't see the first few minutes, but he has hit a lot of these E's so far, which is really important for the Mordekaiser trades. If he doesn't hit those, I mean, you just won't be able to get your combo off. Schlitten was forced to use Flash in the mid lane. Oriana still has her Flash, so she might look for a Flash ultimate here real soon. So Schlittens going to have to be really careful or even back. As it stands, Labubu's trying to look for a gank. But Blazers kind of predicted this and were able to put a really deep ward in this initial bush right here. So they see Labubu on vision, so they'll be able to play safe. But right now, Nocturne has started the dragon. Besides that, Tarleton, now that they pushed in their wave, they want to follow up. Schlitten did fall in mid lane. Oriana used her flash and her ultimate. Although Schlitten died, Oriana having no flash or ult, she won't be able to really help with this dragon, which should allow Tarleton to go in and pick it up for themselves. Even though they do lose a death, they do pick up a dragon. Very good, as this will just allow Tarleton to scale even longer. As Blazers bot lane just push in their wave and reset. Tarleton do secure that Cloud Drake. Next Drake will be the Mountain. I'm going to see the items again. So Twisted Fate went Dirk. Very interesting. Normally you see people stack a lot of attack speed on Twisted Fate, but in the end it looks like he's going for more of a lethality approach, most likely getting Collector first item. Now I haven't really seen this build path before, so it's going to be really interesting to see how it plays out for them. Now Twisted Fate did use his teleport to get back to lane. It looks like Bjorddd used the ultimate. He's 1v1ing the Malphite. They are in the Mordekaiser ult right now. You can't really see it too well on the spectator's end, but if you ever see them fighting it out in the middle of a team fight and no one else is hitting them, it's probably because they're in that Mordekaiser ult. But Val the Grand has sent a mid gank, followed up with just Schlitten's stun. Looks like they're just going to get some damage out, nothing more. Now, it does look like they are setting up for these grubs. Val rotating for this should allow them to secure the grubbies for free. Blazers, they're trying to match it as well with Milio starting to rotate. However, he will be a little bit behind. Twisted Fate using the ultimate to see where Tarleton is. See how they're positioned. Now, Labubu has started the grubs. Milio has arrived in time, actually, for this fight. Tarleton gets the first set of grubs. Oriana ult does come out. However, Xin Zhao pops the ultimate. Looks like they might be able to catch the Oriana. It looks like just a lot of collapsing. Blazers are actually coming out ahead of this fight right now. Bjorddd has made his way here. They still have Val the Grand. He flashes in. Blazers are so low, but it's not enough. They finally found one, but they already lose 3 members by now, leaving Val the last one up. He's trying to run away. He does slow the Nocturne. Let's see if this tower shot kills. And it does. So ultimately, Tarleton, they trade 2 for 4. Not the best, especially getting Nocturne is now gets his first item from all that extra gold. They do pick up 1 grub. That's all that's taken so far. Bjorddd just showed up a little bit late to that party while Orianna was there right away. Looks like for now, Tarleton is just going to choose to farm it out. They did get 1 grub, so at least denies getting all 3 towards the Blazers' side. Yeah, even though Val was able to get that first rotate in, Blazers just showed the strength of their team comp fighting that they have with that Orianna ult and the Nocturne ult. In the meantime, looks like Nocturne will pick up these last 2 grubbies. You see him right here. And looks like a potential top gank or even mid gank going along here. Bjorddd shoving in a massive wave here with the tower plates. Now Nocturne is on this top side of the map. You're just going to be really careful. This could quickly turn into a 1v2 situation. Maybe even 1v3 as Milio has joined his way up here as well. Now, Mordekaiser does have the ult. However, I don't think he can kill anyone before his ult can end. He does ult the Nocturne, but he just is able to run away. Yeah, and then with the Milio knockback and the Malphite ult, Bjorddd ends up falling. Now, knowing Milio is top side, we're going to see if Tarleton tries to make a play in the bot lane. His Twisted Fate just has those happy feet. He's able to dodge a lot of the spells. Gimmick bounces him back. He is starting to take a lot of damage, though. If he doesn't dodge that initial combo right there, I'm pretty sure Tarleton could kill. However, he's able to survive with some of his HP left. You do have to be careful about leaving Gimmick farming these towers, though, as eventually he can always W them down and execute the tower. And even though Tarleton didn't get all 3 grubs, just having that 1 will still help deal some true damage to those towers, which will eventually knock them down. Schlitten getting ulted on. Orianna is not able to kill, but Schlitten flashes anyways. Just trying to play it safe. Nocturne using the ultimate. Labubu is here just in case. It looks like Nocturne won't be able to ult in as they're afraid Labubu might react to the play. Tarleton just going ahead and clear some vision. Nothing ends up happening. The Nocturne does ult, but besides that, the play dies out. Bjorddd is starting to play really aggressive here in the top lane. With his late Andries, he's now able to do a lot more damage to this Malphite. He's starting to build a CS lead in the top lane. Now, it looks like since Tarleton will be resetting, they will just go ahead and give this second dragon, this Mountain Drake, over to the Blazers. There are some pings coming out, so we might see a little bit of a contest happen. Now, Ziggs and Val are just a little behind, using that Xerath ult, giving some vision. Tarleton approaches their way in here. Dragon down to 2,000 HP. Might come down to a 50-50. As both teams are being very cautious about hitting it, and Nocturne is able to secure the dragon. Now Tarleton, they want to look for more, but Labubu is starting to get chunked. So is Nocturne, though, as Twisted Fate continues to walk up with Orianna. Orianna ult finds 3. Labubu popping ultimate. Tarleton now are just trying to run away as more and more just fall. Schlitten, Gimmick, and Labubu all die to that play. Really good ultimate by Orianna there. She gets the flash in and hits the triple shockwave. Tarleton really were just trying to look for something after they lost Dragon to try and not make it a terrible loss, but in the end it actually just doubles down and makes it a really unfortunate play for them. We'll say Gimmick is going a different build than we have seen in the past. He went ahead and went that Luden's Echo first item. Trying to look for some more burst poke damage. Blazers have built up a slight gold lead of 4,000. That last team fight definitely helped develop that gold lead. A lot of their gold is now on the Nocturne and Orianna, which are the more scarier pieces that Blazers have, as that Nocturne ultimate in with the Orianna ult can really pick off whoever it hits. Tarleton have to be a lot more careful of that and not group up or play right next to each other that they did in the last fight. Nocturne does have ultimate here, so Gimmick, he doesn't want to hit that tower. He wants the gold, but he is playing really safe about this Nocturne. He will be in range here very soon. They don't have flash. Nocturne does, so they're going to look to use that. But for now, Labubu is finding a really good gank mid lane, knowing Orianna does not have flash. He's able to get a huge shutdown, almost 900 gold going over towards Labubu. And we talked about that earlier, where if he gets those kills, it's going to really help out his team, as it's going to force the Blazers to build some armor to not die against him. But right now, Nocturne is looking for a gank bot lane. He's just sitting in that tri-bush, waiting for Tarleton just to overstep. But right now, they're playing extremely careful, just farming the wave. Malphite more worried about Bjorddd than his minions. However, he does overstay, takes a few tower shots. He does have that 30 CS lead right now. Definitely winning in that top lane, just has died to ganks so far. Twisted Fate ulting once more. So far, he's been using this ult just to try and figure out where Tarleton is, see where Labubu's at, to avoid getting ganked and see what place he's trying to set up. We see that Milio damage with that Twisted Fate. He's able to shield him so he doesn't take any damage from Labubu. Ooh, Nocturne coming in from behind. He uses the ultimate. Oh, and Orianna is here as well. Looks like Blazers will find two. So far, this Orianna has been roaming a lot this game. Now, I believe like the third or fourth roam she's done. Really helping out her team here. As Schlitten does follow up, but he was just too far to make an impact in that fight. He does get the Milio flash, so we might try to see him look for an ultimate here. Now, they don't have vision, so they don't know where Milio is. They finally find him. Gimmick, oh, barely misses the Q. They're going to continue to look for him as they see him run away. That's going to leave Twisted Fate there. It looks like he's just going to try to 1v2 Tarleton. Oh, Schlitten does flash away, and now we'll protect his life. I mean, that Twisted Fate damage is coming out, but Milio, Twisted Fate, both living with just 1 HP, or one more hit, rather. Blazers so far are in the position they want to be in. 4-13, looking really good for them. Bjorddd, he's been putting a lot of pressure in this top lane. However, now he looks like Blazers are going to put some attention towards him. Labubu is here for the counter gank, though. However, they're not going to realize that Orianna is here. However, he's going to switch focus, and since he knocks back the Nocturne, it denies the Orianna ults. Now, Schlitten does fall in the mid lane. However, Gimmick follows up with the Orianna kill. Right now, a really good counter gank by Labubu. We're going to see what else Tarleton does there. Nocturne does use the ultimate. And with his spell shield, he's able to dodge Bjordd's Q. Both living again on such low HP. A lot of these plays are just quite unfortunate for Tarleton. As if Bjordd possibly could have got a kill or another or a second one there, would have been massive for Tarleton. But they do end up picking up the third dragon. It will be an Infernal Soul this game, which would be really good if Tarleton could get, as they have a lot of poke, and to be able to use that infernal damage be really strong. Nocturne, oh, Schlitten steals the Herald, and then Gimmick picks up the Nocturne kill. A big blunder by the Nocturne right there. He had flash, so he could have escaped, but instead Gimmick is able to pick up another shutdown. I will say Tarleton so far has been finding these bigger shutdowns Earlier, Labubu got almost a 1k gold shutdown off of the Orianna, and now we see Gimmick get that shutdown from the Nocturne. Orianna uses the ult for Val, but this should allow Labubu to now walk up. However, he isn't able to get close enough to get that third auto attack for the knockup. Bjorddd does pick up top tower. So Tarleton, I mean, it was looking pretty rough, but after these past few plays, they have definitely recovered some of that gold they've lost. If they're able to continue making plays like that, securing these objectives, that will definitely help them in these team fights. But for now, Twisted Fate is ulting on Val the Grand, and Nocturne ult will follow up as well. But Bjorddd might be able to get a solo bolo, and he does. Another shutdown going towards Tarleton's end. I mean, Val the Grand soaking up 2 ultimates. Not the worst, as now Gimmick is able to farm more freely. I say that as the Twisted Fate runs him down. However, Gimmick with those W's, he's always been really clean with those. He's able to use them to escape and survive scenarios he shouldn't. Twisted Fate did use Flash there. And Bjorddd is roaming down for this mid play. They only really see Labubu. I mean, they now see Bjorddd. With this Twisted Fate at 3 items, he's definitely starting to hurt. So far, he's gotten 850 gold from his passive. So, has got him a free pickaxe. And with the crit build, it will double your passive gold sometimes. So you'll see him gain a lot of gold. And he'll ramp up a lot faster now that he has items. Now Tarleton, they will just go ahead and farm it out. The biggest goal, or sorry, CS leads so far are in top lane and in mid lane. Bjorddd has built a sizable one against Malphite. However, Orianna has built a big CS lead against Schlitten. So we are seeing Blazers have a lot of gold now on that Twisted Fate, Nocturne, and Orianna on all their carries, which is where you want it. But Tarleton, they just have it really on Labubu and Gimmick. But that's not too bad, as they were the ones that did get the shutdowns. So even though they only have 2 kills, they're a little bit more than that. As the Twisted Fate ult comes out, looking to get Gimmick. He does use the W to bounce away. However, with that long CC from the gold card, Gimmick is just not able to move before he gets shredded down. Dragon will be spawning in a minute 20. I believe Twisted Fate will have ult by the time it does respawn. Okay, Bjorddd flashes in on the Twisted Fate. He goes in looking to finish him off. He does pull him back. Twisted Fate is barely able to live though. Nocturne ult does come out. They have to be wary of this Orianna ult. Labubu is able to deny all the damage from his ult. However, after his ult ended, he just gets shredded down. As now Schlitten seems to be the next target. Gimmick tries to help with his ult. However, it's not enough damage. As Blazers win yet another team fight. Bjorddd could have killed that Twisted Fate in that ultimate. I feel like the fight would have been a lot different. However, he is able to live on just a couple auto attacks, allowing him to wait for that Milio to shield and heal him up. And now with all the members of Tarleton really being down, looks like Blazers will try to secure this Baron. Will say I was questioning this Twisted Fate pick, and especially that build path he went. However, it looks like it's turning out very well for him, as he's starting to get a sizable lead of his own, not only from kills but from his passive. Tarleton are trying to rush this dragon, but looks like they won't be able to, as Orianna TP's in and Twisted Fate ults in. Do get some chunk on him. However, it won't be enough. Bjorddd now sending his TP. The rest of the Blazers have arrived. This is a 5v5. This team fight could decide the game, as Twisted Fate does walk in deep. He takes a lot of chunk damage. Going to be pushed back. Labubu sends the ultimate. They really want to secure this dragon. It's going to be a 50-50. Nocturne is able to secure it. Now the rest of Tarleton now just trying to find any kills. Labubu does fall, leaving just a few members remaining. Twisted Fate was able to live in that team fight there. It looks like Bjorddd is able to pick up 1 kill. Again, Tarleton just not enough damage to finish off these kills, and they're able to reset and look for a re-engage. And now after losing 2 50-50s on the dragon, it's going to make it really hard for Tarleton to have a chance at Soul this game. And now the Blazers have secured a 10k gold lead. At this point, it's going to be really hard to come back. I mean, we did see some good plays this game. We haven't seen him in a little bit, and it's now starting to put a really big toll on Tarleton. I mean, they were able to get 1 shutdown there, but that's just not enough for what they lost. I feel like the hard part for Tarleton here is they just don't really have much engage. Mordekaiser, he does look for solo fights. I just feel like with the mixture of Karma, Ziggs, and Xerath, they just have a lot of poke. There's no way to really start a team fight, while Blazers have multiple different ways that they can go in with a Twisted Fate gold card, or Iana ult, or a Malphite ult, or a Nocturne ult. There's so many methods to escape. However, Twisted Fate looked like he was caught, but instead, Val gets caught with an Orianna finding the ultimate. In the meantime, Bjorddd will go down as Gimmick is trying to 1v1 this Nocturne. And he does pick up the kill. This Twisted Fate is really becoming a demon. He's able to 1v1 Mordekaiser. He's able to beat anyone on the side lane. Having all these teleports and the Twisted Fate ult, Blazers can really just move around on the entire map wherever they want to be and join up with their team. We'll say it will be interesting in the next game to see what both teams pick, as this game really knocks out a lot of teamfight champions. Like, we know Gimmick will also play the Orianna. I know he hasn't really been playing mid lane much. We never know if they might try to switch it up. But Orianna will be out of the game. Nocturne will be out Malphite. And then, of course, Xin Zhao is a really popular champion as well in that jungle role. As well as Ziggs. We see Gimmick play it almost every series now. Right now, it looks like Blazers will be trying to look for another pick here. He does have the Twisted Fate gold card. Before he gets out of the CC, already shreds Gimmick, or sorry, Bjorddd to half HP, and he does flash the combo. So in the end, Twisted Fate isn't stuck in with the Mordekaiser. Mordekaiser is stuck in with the Twisted Fate. This might be a pick on the Twisted Fate, while Labubu does 1v2 in top lane. And he just gets bursted down. Tarleton can't really make plays happen anywhere on the map. They tried top lane, they tried bot lane. Both fail. As the Blazers will just continue to build up this gold lead. Look, at this point, one of the big things is, again, we see it happen a lot in these games where one team has way more kills. It's not just the gold they're getting, it's also the XP difference. Getting those base stats from the level ups can make just as big as a difference as having an item or not. Tarleton's best chance right now is just trying to farm and play it out. However, it's just going to get harder and harder as The Blazers just continue to build up that lead. Eventually, they will, stall out long enough if they are able to wait to full builds and everyone being level 18. But it looks like Labubu will get engaged on before that can happen. This Twisted Fate gold card has been finding pick after pick non-stop. Whoever it hits, that person will die. As they will be able to get to their soul point here. Like I was saying though, best bet now for Tarleton is just trying to last long enough to get full build, full levels. However, it looks like they may not be able to. As Bjorddd, the next one picked, gets gold carded. Just his death sentence. Now his ult does provide him a little extra time to live. However, it's not enough to even find a kill. He ends up dying. Death timers are becoming extremely long now. We see Bjorddd out for an entire minute. Now this should allow Blazers to comfortably get Baron. Tarleton don't have really any way to steal it unless his Ziggs ult can find its way. But he's not close enough. Blazers now with the Baron buff, they might try to look for a game-ending push here. They have the damage, and they have the siege potential with the minions. Tarleton normally have really good wave clear with this comp, but when it comes to Baron minions, it's really hard to take them out. We will see the Twisted Fate TP into the mid lane. He does have his Milio and Malphite, so they are definitely looking for some picks or a play to happen. I mean, right now would be Tarleton's best time as Nocturne is farming. Try and make something happen. With that rapid fire and Milio W, Twisted Fate gold card can really find anyone. Tarleton, they are able to survive from that wave, able to take it out. Saying they do have really good wave clear, so they might be able to stall it, but at the same time, whenever Malphite decides to fully commit to the Nocturne, I feel like Tarleton will just get killed under tower. As Nocturne does send it onto Schlitten, he'll just be able to take him out in the 1v1. As they will be sieging both mid and bot lane now. Orianna ult finds two, followed up by the Malphite. Mordekaiser does ult, trying to survive. Played out. He might pick up the Malphite here. However, Twisted Fate finds Labubu and just takes him down. Looks like Gimmick is the next one on the list. As before he can even get out of the CC, he dies. I feel like this Twisted Fate was just able to really take over this game and completely... I mean, every time he had gold card, he would just find a pick after pick. And that'll allow Blazers to secure game one. We'll get into draft here real soon. Be able to see what both teams decide to go with. Like I said, it's going to be interesting as a lot of all those champions can't be picked again. You know, it's fearless. So I'll go ahead and let you guys know when we are back. But for now, just go and enjoy some music and relax.
1991, birds and people are living together in seemingly perfect harmony, until one day a young man catches fire. This is Phoenix.
Welcome back, everyone. It looks like we are getting into draft. Let me go ahead and switch this on over here real quick. So far, we're seeing a lot of similar bans. Tarleton banning that Lucian Nami combo, as well as Orin. And it looks like Blazers will go ahead and continue with the Mel, Brand, and Zaheen. As you can see, all the champions that were picked in Game 1 and are now banned. Looks like we will see Teemo first pick. Now it looks like Tarleton maybe role swapped here, as we know Slidden does love that Teemo jungle. At the same time, he could just be going Teemo mid or something of that sort. Besides that, we will see Ashe picked. Potentially, yeah. I'm gonna make a guess. I want to say it's gonna be an Ashe Seraphine. I mean, we have seen. Oh, yep, there we go. Predicted that. I mean, so far that first game, seeing that Twisted Fate Milio and then Lucian Nami being banned, it kind of makes sense that the support goes to the next best thing, which is Seraphine. And from Tarleton, we'll see Vigar as well. Again, following this heavy AP pattern. So this will mean we'll probably see Labubu on another AD jungler. If he is still jungle. Who knows if things got switched around or not. However, we have seen Gimmick played this Vigar quite a bit, so I believe that is his champion. And for the last pick, or last of this phase, will be the Poppy. Poppy Vigar, they have a pretty fun combo, as if they are in the middle of Vigar's cage, Poppy can E them into the wall and get stunned by the Vigar wall. As well as, I mean, we've seen Val play it quite a bit, or the times he has played it, he's had a lot of impact, whether it be from his ultimates or CC capabilities. He also loves to roam on that champion, able to go around the map. Looks like Blazers will go ahead and pick up the Hecarim. It's going to be really good with the Seraphine speed up, as well as just Ashe slowing down the rest of the enemy team to allow Hecarim to run around and cause mayhem. So now it looks like they aren't convinced that it's Poppy support. They're thinking maybe it's Poppy top lane or even Poppy jungle. So they're going to ban the Janna, not wanting to risk going against that. And then Tarleton will follow it up with the Kennen ban. Makes sense. They don't have a lot of mobility, really. So trying to deny that pick. And yeah, Blazers, they really think this Poppy is top or jungle as they go ahead and ban another support. Now, very may will be a different like top or jungle for Poppy, but I do know we have seen Val play it quite a bit. And in the end, it looks like Blazers decided to ban the Yone. Maybe they got it figured out, or they just probably saw Yone as a bigger threat than Morgana. As Tarleton's last and final ban will be Aurora. So really try to get rid of these mages. Don't want Blazers to have a side lane mage that can really pop in from any angle. As their first to last pick, it's going to be Rise. Very strong mage right now. Wouldn't be surprised if they do lock it in. He has that guaranteed EWCC that also lasts for quite a bit. And with Tarleton not really having much mobility, having a champion like Rise is very strong, as he can either ult behind the enemy or like I said, just walk up and press his spells on them. Looks like we're going to see the Nasus. Okay. So, based off of this, I'm going to say Tarleton has definitely rolled swapped yet again. Most likely Schlitten jungle. Maybe Labubu on the Vigar with the Poppy bot lane. Gimmick on the Nasus mid lane. And Bjorddd on the Jax top. That's going to be my guess. Now, of course, we probably won't see till we get in game. However, with these champions, with the people playing them, that's going to be my assumption. It looks like we are getting invited to the lobby. It looks like, yeah. Okay, Gimmick is mid lane, Labubu, ADC. So those picks are probably true. As we see Blazers' last pick will be Cho'Gath. Gotta say, I'm not very familiar with the Jax Cho'Gath lane. I don't really know which one is more winning. I'd assume Cho'Gath is, as he did pick it into the Jax. Just like I assume Gimmick knows what he's doing into this Rise. I mean, we have seen Gimmick's Nasus. It is a classic. He'll play that into almost any matchup, and yet he'll normally come out on top. He's really comfortable and confident with that champion. So it looks like we ready up here. Yeah, now we're going to go into draft. It's going to be pretty interesting to see Tarleton go back to their roots here, reversing all their lane swaps. It makes sense though. Schlitten loves this Teemo jungle pick. I mean, we've seen him playing a lot, probably one of his best or at least favorite junglers. So role swapping like this can always be good, as we saw in first game they're able to pick certain champions, and now in the second game they're able to pick a whole new roster, which could just be the advantage they need to kind of thin out champion pools and be able to stretch out the rest of them to last throughout a best of 3 series. I feel like though if Tarleton doesn't want to lose like they did last game, they're definitely going to have to really watch this mid laner. Last game, the Orianna did plenty of these early game roams that really started this lead, and they were able to just build off of that. So we're going to have to see if Gimmick will be able to hold him down in the mid lane or be able to stop him. But with the Nasus pick, we have seen it quite often where even if the mid laner does roam, Nasus be able to get all those stacks and farm up. He can eventually even 1v2. We've seen it happen many times. And Labubu back in the bot lane. It's been a while. We've been seeing him in the jungle for quite some time. And he has told me a little bit about this Vigar pick. It is one of his favorite picks right now in solo queue. Call it the LP printer. So we're going to have to see if he's able to carry this game like he does in his solo queue games. We'll say it's also very interesting that Blazers went ahead and picked the Hecarim. I don't know if that's a champion that they really like, or if that was potentially they're just trying to pick it to get it out of Labubu's champ pool. Because even though he did lose on it the last time he picked it, he was able to put on a really good performance, going 9-0 at one point, I believe, and was just like the main light of his team that game. It wasn't enough though, but potentially the Blazers are just trying to respect that and not allow Labubu to have the chance to pick it. Again, I feel like they have a really good team fighting comp, something that you'll traditionally see more often, having that tank for engage and then a jungler that can really follow up with his solo laners. And then, yeah, just a normal bot lane that has an enchanter support that can really just stand behind this ADC and help them out. But Tarleton definitely on champions that they are really comfortable with. We've seen all these guys play these champions before. hopefully that experience here will be able to help them find some plays and know exactly what they want to do when they play this game. I feel like that's one big thing, is just you can pick a team comp, you can draft whatever. It's just, are you able to really play it to its full potential, really draw out what the purpose of that comp is? And I feel like normally with this type of comp, Tarleton is able to do that. So without further ado, we're going to get into game one. This time, I'll make sure we don't see a black screen. I'll be watching to make sure. As we have the longest 0 seconds ever. Normally when this happens, there's typically an almost instant pause when you get into the game. As, yeah, our spectator delay does reset. So we'll just have another 2.5 minutes to stare at this screen. Hear me yap a little bit more. I did mention it, but I want to mention again. Vigar Poppy, really fun combo. Be able to use both of their E's to build a cage and then knock someone into it. Vigar, you're going to see him mostly farm early on. However, once he gets that level 6, once he gets that ultimate, a lot of ADCs don't respect it, and it can one-shot you. Or not exactly one-shot, but almost take you out whenever you're half HP. So you'll see it happen a lot, where Vigar just has to hit one WQ, and then maybe Poppy gets a little bit of damage off, and then boom, Vigar ults and blows up a target. It's really useful, especially for that second dragon. Now, they may not have it for that first dragon, especially if Hecarim tries to rush it early on. And we know Teemo doesn't really have good early game objective pressure either. So I feel like the Blazers definitely want to look for these early objectives. But if Tarleton are able to wait, stall out, play for some of like the second drag or even like the Herald fight, if they're able to wait for that, then I feel like they have a really good chance at winning a team fight. So let's just see what happens. Now, although I have talked a lot about Tarleton's bot combo, Blazers definitely have a bot combo as their own. With the Ashe Seraphine. Ashe can slow them down, which allows Seraphine to root them or even stun them. Who's where today? Well, in game one, Lububu was jungle, and Gimmick was ADC and Schlitten mid lane. However, they have changed it up for this game too, with Schlitten returning back to the jungle, Gimmick back to mid lane, and Lububu back to ADC. So, almost the first variation that we saw in the first week. Tarleton did lose game one. And it looks like we now are going into the game. And boom, yeah, we get to see all the skins real quick. Ashe has the brand new Firecracker skin. Looks pretty clean. And Cho'Gath is rocking the Season Pass skin. Oh, it looks like the bot lane will be matching with Seraphine also getting the new Firecracker skin. Trying to use that new skin luck. It's always fun to see what everyone takes. We'll say Schlitten did go for the Dark Harvest. I don't know if that's what he typically goes. However, that is a pretty fun rune, especially if his shrooms can really just find the Blazers team. They can shred him down, and then having that little burst potential can be quite strong. Looks like for now, Rise will be able to find a ward at the Raptors, potentially. Will he go for it? He will not. As you look in the jungle, Blazers have put quite a few defensive wards. I don't know if they're worried about Schlitten trying to do a cheeky little invade or not. Right now, yeah, we'll probably see a lot of farming going on. Val did try to find a root or a stun into the wall. That could have been pretty good. However, it barely misses, standing right outside the wall. Lububu did go for the first strike. Oh, thank you, thank you. I appreciate the support. Gotta say, I do appreciate you guys showing up almost every week to support our Texans. I know they appreciate it. It's always nice to have people to view all the effort they do put in, especially with how often they're trying to change and trying to figure stuff out, so they're able to have a strong plan trying to go into NECC playoffs. Why are you forcing Mage Bot? I feel like, I mean, that's a great question. I can probably ask him to get a clear answer for next week. However, I do feel like a lot of Mage bot laners, they scale just as well as any ADC could. I mean, now, of course, you still have your hyper carries like Jinx or Aphelios. However, those champions you do kind of need to have a lot of time and practice on. And Lububu, he is still kind of new to ADC, and then, of course, switching Gimmick down to bot lane. APCs are the only thing he really knows, is, you know, picking Nasus ADC isn't really viable. Now that they are back to having Lububu bot lane, we might see a true ADC come out, but I do know he is a fan favorite of this Veigar pick. So it could just be the fact that he really wanted to try it out and see how it'd work in a team setting. I know he's been playing it quite some time in solo queue. But I can definitely get a true answer by the next game. For now, though, haven't really talked much about the game. Just a lot of fighting going on across the map. Nothing too crazy yet. However, it does look like Hacker will be able to double scuttle Schlitten here. As Veigar throws out the cage, however, doesn't find anyone. However, it doesn't necessarily need to. Like we talked about, he kind of wanted to wait till level 6 anyways. Besides that, a lot of the players have taken their first back. Schlitten able to get that early blasting wand, which will allow him to have some decent damage if he does try to look for a gank. We'll say though, Gimmick has been doing a great job in mid lane so far. Able to out-sustain the Rise. Actually now has a little bit of an XP lead. Now that might go away after Rise is able to farm for a little bit. But just being able to show that he's able to survive in these early levels. We might see the combo. We do. That Poppy ease the Ashe into the wall, gets a stun off, and Tarleton are able to chunk her down. Now if Veigar was level 6 there, you'll see exactly what I mean. He could just ult right after that combo, and it'll one-shot Ashe, allowing not even her to play the game. Now, she does have Cleanse, so she might try to look to cleanse it in the future. Probably not respecting exactly how much damage it can do. Besides that, Bjorddd is looking for the 1v1. So far, he's been able to keep this Cho'Gath in check. He's been having a pretty good series today in that game 1. Even though he did die to some ganks, he was able to find a lot of difference on the enemy top laner. Oh, but again, talking about him dying to ganks, Hecarim does come up, picks him off. He almost gets the Cho'Gath in return. That would have been a really good 1-for-1 kill. However, he does end up falling. Okay, we see Gimmick wither in the Rise, run him down, but Rise is able to ult away. That is one issue with the Nasus mid lane. He doesn't have any CC to stop that Rise ultimate. But it does show that he is ready to 1v1 him at any moment. With that, it looks like Blazers might try to start first Dragon here. I mean, I talked about this in the pregame. They really want these early objectives before Teemo gets his shrooms, before Veigar gets his ultimate. But Gimmick is able to ward him off. He says, I just took down Rise. I can make y'all run away too. So instead, it looks like Tarleton will actually go for Dragon themselves. Canis over here. Looks like they won't even be contested here. This is actually really good, getting these early objectives. This will just allow them to scale even longer. I mean, we saw it even last game, even though they were losing. Just the fact that they were able to get 2 early dragons allowed them to be in the game a lot longer than they should have been. So getting those early objectives are really important. Love to see it. However, Hecarim, since he did end up farming instead of getting that dragon, he does have the level 6 advantage. Gimmick doesn't have Ghost mid lane, so he has to be really careful here. He does have some vision, so they do know where Hecarim is. Oh, looks like Ashe might be in trouble as Poppy runs after her. However, is not able to connect to the wall. But they are able to get some damage out. I mean, so far, Tarleton's bot lane playing really clean here. Labubu back with Val the Grand. And they're able to do a lot of poking, chunking them out, and are able to avoid getting damaged themselves. Now, Labubu has that level 6. Definitely going to try to look for a kill here. Ashe does have cleanse though, so she might be able to escape it. But if they overstep at all, it's either going to force some summoners or allow them to pick up a kill. Now Ashe does respect it and she does back. And Tarleton will just go ahead and push in this wave. Labubu able to build up a slight CS lead already. It looks like Seraphine will get knocked back. I like how Val positioned himself. Oh, it froze. What happened? Okay. Well, that's quite... Can we just replay it? Okay, so this is a little bit of a replay. Val comes in. I likes how he eats her back right there. Almost gets the Seraphine low enough. However, looks like Labubu doesn't ult as she's not in kill range. So we're going to speed this up a little bit. Get us back up in time. Okay. Apparently we missed a lot as top lane ends up getting ganked. I don't know exactly why we're not fully live. Let's see if we're able to skip ahead. Alrighty, so I guess we lagged a little bit and got sent behind quite a bit. However, now that we're caught up, top lane died to another gank, and then bot lane had a fight, but no one died. So it looks like we didn't miss too much. And at the same time, Hecarim did get the Void Grubs. For now, it looks like everyone's going to go back to farming. Tarleton are doing a lot better about not losing too much. So far, it's just Jax that has died. I feel like for a while, this Cho'Gath will be ahead. However, whenever Jax gets some items, I feel like he can 1v1 him once again. Once he gets that Trinity Force, potentially even a Bork, will allow him to shred down the tank. But for now, he's going to have to be really careful after especially dying those 2 times. Hecarim does look for an invade. He's able to pick up Schliden's Wolves. In that bot fight that just happened, looked like Blazer's bot lane used every single summoner. So if Tarleton are able to find another wall and are able to stun one of them... Oh, it looks like for now, Hecarim just ults in on the Bjorddd. And Cho'Gath will just be able to eat him and kill him. Okay, it looks like big damage coming out on the Seraphine. She lives just barely. Vigar was not in range to ult. Bjorddd is taking a lot of losses. I will say, though, all the kills going on to Cho'Gath is definitely a lot better than all the kills going on to Hecarim. Okay, Gimmick going for the 1v1. He withers down the Rise, runs him down, and Rise is going to have to flash away. Looks like they are going to pick up a kill on the Ashe. That's the one-shot combo that we've been talking about, that we see almost happen so many times. Finally, Tarleton is able to secure the kill on that one. And it especially goes on to Labubu, which is just even more important, as he now will have some gold to play with, and he does get 2 stacks on his Dark Seal. We see Schlitten just be able to get a Dark Harvest stack right there from Rise hitting that Shroom. Able to pick those up, allow him to do some good burst damage. Even though Schlitten is down in CS, he is actually even with the jungle snacks. So that's not too bad, as he should be able to finish his smite around the same time Hecarim does. But everyone is looking towards this next dragon, with Schlitten getting the Rise extremely low. Oh, I'm sorry, guys. Go. Get that back going. Close all those. At Tarleton are looking to do this dragon. Val is getting slightly caught. However, I don't think that matters too much, as Vigar Cage is able to walk him out. Hecarim is not able to even walk up towards this dragon, so Tarleton find a second dragon. I mean, just having that bot prio as well as that mid prio allows them to walk up. Okay, I guess Cho'Gath must have ate a minion or something, as Bjorddd is able to run him down. However, he gets hit by that Cho'Gath Q and it stops his rampage, but he almost took out the Cho'Gath there. Having that fully procced lethal tempo really helped him fight him, but now Hecarim looking to pick up another kill. Bjorddd falling once again. Gotta be extremely frustrating so many times tonight. Bjorddd almost 1v1s the enemy top laner, but every time the jungler is there, at a certain point, Bjorddd just has to respect the jungler a little bit more and not go for these fights. However, he just feels confident as he does keep winning the 1v1. But it looks like Blazers are not trying to 1v1 in the top lane in this series. We saw a lot in the first game and now in this one. And Hecarim is now starting to pick up these kills. Oh, Seraphine just barely able to get a Labubu stun there. He does find the WQ though. At this point, this Vigar with the Luden's Echo is doing a lot of damage. Okay, Rise is just going to ult away. Tarleton are probably going to look for a tower dive here. I mean, they have the damage if they can just stun one of them. It looks like they just forced the Ashe ult and they'll take that. Call it a day. Gimmick looking for a roam. This Rise has not been able to move at all outside this lane. Gimmick's doing a great job about keeping him in that mid lane, as well as just able to stay up in CS. It's always hard into melee matchup, into ranged matchups, being able to CS. So Gimmick's just playing this lane really good. Of course, we kind of knew he would, as this Nasus pick is just something he has quite some knowledge about. Getting those early Merc treads are definitely helping, as that Rise stun barely lasts a second. Rise is trying to pull out his full combo here. However, Gimmick is just dodging most of it, and then he's able to lifesteal off the minions, keeping him alive pretty... Oh, okay. Hecarim looking for potential gank on Labubu. However, Labubu just has that wave clear. He is him. He just goes ahead and one-shots those Rangers. Rise doesn't have ultimate or flash, so Gimmick might be able to pick up a solo kill here. And he does. I mean, we see him run down this Rise every time he has Ghost, and this time he finally finds the kill. It looks like Tarleton finally see that Hecarim gank. Hecarim wasted a lot of time in bot lane there. He sat in that bush for almost a minute, and this should allow Schlitten to go and try to get this Herald. As Gimmick's full HP, he isn't going to be worried at all about this Hecarim gank. Okay, Vigar did get the stun out. Ashe is just going to walk into the wall and cleanse, and Seraphine ults to protect them. They are so afraid of Labubu's damage right now. They just instantly ran away, used whatever they could to get out. I mean, I feel like they have to, as Labubu can one-shot almost anyone, maybe besides Cho'Gath. Now we're going to see... Oh, okay, looks like Seraphine's the next one up, and she's going to have to flash away. So far, Labubu and Val are playing this bot lane very good. They haven't died yet, and they are now just forcing Blazers to retreat at every moment. However, it looks like, can the Poppy ult do much. Looks like she is able to knock away the Seraphine. And looks like Labubu and Val die as soon as I said they haven't died. But it's alright, as Gimmick is able to TP follow up and pick up 2 of his own. As a Vygar, you're never too mad about getting assist, as you get the same amount of AP as you get from kills. You get 5 from either or. So even though Labubu died and didn't get the gold, he still got an extra 10 AP from his passive. Speaking of Vygar's passive, whenever he respawns... Oh, we can see it now. He has 190 stacks. So he has a 425 AP already. Go ahead and gets the Storm Surge. So by the time this next dragon spawns in 10 seconds, whenever Vygar gets ultimate, he's going to be a really serious threat. I mean, just to compare it, so you guys know, like, Ryze currently has 113 AP. So Vygar almost having quadruple that this early on is just insane. He's been able to stack up really good so far in this laning phase. He does find a pick on the Ryze, however, he isn't able to land any abilities. Val the Grand is kind of caught in the enemy, but he does dodge most of the skill shots, so he doesn't take too much damage. Tarleton are looking to get their 3rd dragon here, as top lane is fighting. However, we're going to look down here for now. Like, this is a little bit more important as we see a team fight about to break out. Vygar Cage does find Hecarim. Seraphine ult misses almost everyone. Now Ryze ult does get Ashe far away. However, Tarleton, I think they... I don't know, it's too close to say. As they do have Hecarim ult coming up any second now. Back on here. Yeah, Tarleton, they kind of back up, even though they get a lot of ults out. It's not enough. As Blazers secure their first dragon of the game. Same time though, Bjorddd starting to win 1v1 top lane, even though he is 0-4. And Cho'Gath is 3-0. He's able to back him off the tower and force his flash. Gimmick is able to pick up a tower of his own. Looks like Jax might just follow right after. He is starting to shred down this tower. Even though Tarleton loses a dragon, they are able to pick up 2 towers and get out a lot of ultimates. For now, it looks like things have resetted. I'm glad Tarleton didn't do what they did last game, where even though they lose drag, they try to look for a team fight and end up losing a lot more. Instead, they learn from that lesson and they decide to just back off after losing the dragon, don't want to cause anything. They do know that since they have that 2-dragon lead and they have a fed Vygar, just let Labubu scale. Let him get even stronger. By the time these next few dragons happen, he'll become unstoppable. Ryze looking for a gank right now. He doesn't have ult, so he can't get behind Labubu. I mean, we talked about this earlier. Ryze roaming, especially when he does something like that, he doesn't find anything. And instead, this just allows Gimmick to get some free CS mid lane to get some more stacks as well. Tarleton just having that double stackers, always really good for scaling, especially when you get the early 2 dragons. I'm not worried at all about losing that 3rd one. We'll say Ocean Soul would actually be really good for Tarleton in this game, as it would allow Jax to side lane and be able to regen, and Nasus will become really nasty, as he's just not only have his passive lifesteal, but the healing from Ocean Drag. Hecarim did look bot, however, Tarleton knows that. Having good vision for both teams right now makes it really hard for either jungler to gank at all. However, we might see that Bjorddd has a vision score of 3 that could contribute to all the ganks he has received. Maybe if he put down some wards, he would see them coming, but for now, Hecarim has putting a lot of his attention towards bot lane. They want to try and do something about Labubu. Try and stall his scaling. The Schlitten is here, streaming it up. Bjorddd looking for another 1v1. As we see a big team fight about to break out in bot lane. I know Bjorddd keeps trying to do these 1v1s when a team fight's about to break out. I feel like we might want to see this. As it looks like in the end, Tarleton actually just back out. They drop the Herald, but they don't really want to follow it up. Lububu probably sitting on a lot of gold now. He's been on these 2 items for a while. Yeah, he does pick up the double large rod, getting an extra 120 AP from that alone. Once he gets that death cap, he's going to be a menace, as he now has 600 AP. If he can get that death cap, he might just go up to 800 right away. But Dragon's up in a minute. That's definitely going to be the next objective both teams are going to be looking towards. I feel like at this moment in the game, Rise, he doesn't really have damage items yet. He's just going more survivability. So he doesn't really have much on that AP end. So Tarleton might be able to pull off a pretty convincing teamfight here, as they do have the gold lead. They do have the advantage with Lububu. But for now, Bjorddd looking for another 1v1. He likes these longer fights as he has the lethal tempo and Jax's passive just giving him more attack speed. He is able to dodge that Ashe ultimate just barely. Now with Drag spawning in 12 seconds, Ashe having no ult, and now Val the Grand finding a pick on Rise, making him flash away. So far looking for a really good startup for Tarleton, as they have the Teemo Shrooms out. They are poking the Hecarim as well. So far they are playing this pre-drag setup extremely well. It's going to make it really hard for the Blazers to find a way in here. As Teemo is working on this dragon, Poppy looking to ult, she misses the Hecarim. And Schlitten does secure the dragon as a fight breaks out. Hecarim running away with 1 HP. The Rise ultimate is going to take out 3 of them. So it looks like the Blazers won't lose any lives. However, they did lose the dragon. Tarleton now on sole point. Probably just going to do what they've been doing. Looking to scale, looking to farm. And just wait another 5 minutes. I mean, that's what you want to do when you have a comp like this. Scale it out. At some point, the Blazers are going to have to look for a team fight, have to look for an angle, or this Nasus and Veigar will just continue to get stronger and stronger. We're going to wait for Lububu to get his death cap before we do another AP reveal. Just see the massive boost he gained. He was at 600 the last time we saw. This is going to be pretty fun to see how much he gets. But for now, Val the Grand finding a stun. Oh, looks like Lububu tries to flash, looking for a QR to one-shot Ashe, but she does flash in return, getting away. Both ADCs are trading flash there. Lububu doesn't have much mana to stay, so he's going to have to reset here. So far, Lububu is able to build a pretty sizable CS lead, and Bjorddd has built his own little CS lead in top lane, while Gimmick has done a great job about staying even with the Rise. Like I said, it's never easy when you're playing a range into a melee matchup, but he was able to do it. Okay, for the reveal, Lububu has gotten death cap. He now has 829 AP. So with that death cap alone, 832 now, he's stacking. He was able to jump up, 230 AP with 1 item. Very strong. For those of you, if you don't know, any newbie watchers, the reason why death cap gives so much is because it gives a 30% increase to your AP. So you got an extra 200 AP alone from the passive of death cap. It just works really good with Veigar, as Veigar's passive gives him AP every time he lands an ability or gets a kill or assist like I talked about. Okay, it looks like Val the Grand has found a pick on Ashe. Ashe does have cleanse, so it might not be enough. Hecarim is there. So in the end, Ashe will be able to walk away. But now she's got to reset again. Feels like anytime Val the Grand sees this Ashe, she either dies or has to reset, causing her to lose a lot of minions. Drag spawning in 2 minutes here. Tarleton definitely want to look towards the soul. A lot slower game this time around. A lot less deaths, a lot less casualties. But that's definitely towards Tarleton's benefit. We see a lot of pings coming out, talking about the next dragon spawning. Blazers, this is going to be a team fight they're going to fully commit to. They have to win this team fight to stop Tarleton now before they can get any more dragons. Before they can scale longer, they need to get some kills. They need to claim these shutdowns. But if Tarleton are able to not just avoid dying or pick up the dragon, it's going to be a dream scenario for them. As they are also just prepping Baron, making Blazers aware that they could do that. So it is going to force some of their vision and attention. Okay, we are seeing an engage happen. Hecarim getting chunked down. These these Nasus Qs are just eating them up. As Hecarim's the first to fall. Gimmick is not finished with the Blazers just yet. He's now looking towards Ashe. He doesn't have flash. And we see the Poppy stun into the Gimmick Q. Really good pick by Tarleton there. This should secure them the Dragon Soul, as well as getting some kills. Another perfect drag setup. So far, Tarleton have been playing these really well in this game. They are just sitting around waiting for this to spawn. I'll go and do a Nasus stack check. Nasus at 750 stacks. Now, I don't really play that champion, but I'm going to assume that's really good. I mean, it looks like it's really good as he is just chunking down the members of the enemy team. Yeah, I mean, just look at Labubu here, almost at 900 AP, getting ever stronger. Poppy does look for the combo, hits the Cho'Gath. Seraphine misses the ult. Oh, and Labubu just takes down the tank. I mean, that was insane damage on his part. As now Bjorddd looks to group up with his team here. Seraphine is able to survive. With those Merc treads, she's able to resist that CC and make it out alive. But Tarleton, they should be able to siege the tower here. As Seraphine is not able to escape that time. And she does fall down. Now Blazers missing 2 of their members. Tarleton, they want to look towards this Baron buff. Ashe does send the Hawk shot, so they do have vision. They know that Tarleton is on the Baron. But Tarleton are not afraid of that at all. I mean, the best bet is Hecarim to steal the Baron right now. However, Labubu and Val the Grand push him off, which allows Slidden to secure yet another objective. So far, 001 hasn't really contributed much to the kill department, but he's gotten all these objectives. I mean, that's the thing about jungler. If you can just smite, that's all that matters. And I gotta do a shout out to Bjorddd, even though he is 0-4. All of those were from ganks. So not a single solo death. That has been really good as he's been able to 1v1 this Cho'Gath, even though he's had the kill advantage. Or the Cho'Gath has had the kill advantage, so the fact he's been able to solo him on the side is very good for Tarleton, as they don't really have to worry about losing towers or just a push going out of control. Now that everyone has returned from the Baron reset, looks like Tarleton are looking to siege mid lane. As Val the Grand, the support, is able to chunk Rise, almost able to force him to flash or something. Okay, we're gonna see another 1v1 happen. Bjorddd liking these odds. Looks like it's gonna take us towards mid lane. Ashe gets caught. One stun and she's dead. Not able to move at all. Hekrum's the next one to die. Vigar flashing in, ulting down the rest of them. However, it looks like he is trapped with the Ryze, but Ryze walks into the wall. He gets stunned, and the Boo is able to live. Tarleton on their way to win game 2. Able to pick it up after game 1. They're able to continue this series to take it out to a best of 3. I mean, they did the reverse role swap. They went back to the original setup they had, and it worked. I mean, we talked about it. Why AP mages in the bot lane. This is why Labubu carries the game with a stellar performance here. And it looks like we're going to set up this next draft. And all right, well, for now, guys, we're going to get the next draft set up. I'll go ahead and switch the screens whenever we do go back to it. But so far, we're in an amazing series. Tarleton, they lose game 1, but they're able to come back with game 2, play a really slow, clean game there. And this will allow us to, see a game 3, a lot of champions ban. It's going to be interesting to see if Tarleton maybe returns to the roles or if they continue what they just did. But for now, just enjoy some music, and we'll see you guys in game 3.
covered in ink and bleach. Cross out the ones who heard my cries and watched me weep. I love everything. Fire spreading all around my room. My world's so bright, it's hard to breathe, but that's alright. Hush. Tape my eyes open to force reality. Why can't you just let me eat my weight in glee? I live inside my own world of make-believe. Kids screaming in their cradles, profanities. Some days I feel skinnier than all the other days. Sometimes I can't tell if my body belongs to me. I love everything. Fire spreading all around my room. My world's so bright, it's hard to breathe, but that's alright. Hush.
Welcome back, everybody, for the third and final game of this series. Draft has started. Of course, we're going to see the same bands that we've been seeing. We're going to see probably the Nami come out next for Tarleton. But for now, Blazers ban the Mill. Oh, it looks like they will switch to the Corky ban. They know that Lububu is in AEC, so they want to probably look him up, figure out what else he plays. I mean, after that Vigar performance, you have to be really careful. They might just center the bans around him. And we're going to see the Jarvan ban. It's going to be interesting to see what Schlitten goes. I mean, we know he is that Teemo jungle one trick. So see what he pulls up next year. Blazers are just going to first pick the Yone. Could be a flex pick. Could have it go top or mid. See whatever matchup's better for them as they go ahead and first pick it. Might see Tarleton pull out their bot lane, or see if they want to respond to that Yone pick. Let's just go look some potential mid laners right now that can kind of match him. Okay, we see Swain. Now, most likely this is gimmick on the Swain. I mean, that's what he normally plays. However, maybe someone else on the team has picked it up. And the Amumu. Now, this is typically the jungle we will see after, especially into a deep draft like this, but I feel like Tarleton hasn't really found much success on that champion this semester. I mean, sometimes they're able to make some plays happen, but more than not, the Amumu just isn't what they need. But always having that Amumu passive will be useful with the Swain. Having that magic resist shred should allow Swain to do a lot of damage as Blazers go ahead and lock in the Morgana. Now Morgana, I believe she can still go jungle, but I know she is typically a support. And so far we have been seeing Enchanter supports on Blazers' side, so this could just be another pick like that. Yeah, okay. And with that Wukong pick, it does kind of confirm that it will be a Morgana support. Unless it's Morgana mid lane. I forgot that that has been a thing recently too. I mean, a lot of these champions, it feels like, especially in this season, can kind of just go whatever role they want. But Tarleton will pick their ADC. They go and pick the Jinx. We talked about it. We might see a actual ADC instead of APC. And here we are for the first game in a while. we finally get to see an ADC in the bot lane, and it's a good one at that. Jinx, really good scaler. I feel like Tarleton have a right idea coming in to this game 3. I mean, game 2, they really won off of scaling, and it looks like they're drafting a similar comp, just like that. You know, Swain is another stacker, just like Nasus. Jinx, she's a hyper scaler, just like Vigar can be, and same with a lot of other champions of her kind of archetype. But we'll see how Labubu plays it out. We have seen him played a couple times, not too much this semester. More importantly, we're going to see what Val picks with it, as he will lock in the Rel. I mean, right now, with almost all the enchanters kind of knocked out of this game, as Karma was picked game 1, Milio as well, and then Seraphine picked game 2, kind of knocks out. I mean, now Morgana picked them. I guess maybe could have gone Sona or Janna, but that wouldn't have been too good, especially into Yone or Wukong. So the Rel, really good engage. I feel like that's what Tarleton lacked a lot in game 1, as we see in their team comp right here. They just didn't really have anyone that could just go in whenever they wanted to. But now they have the Amumu and Rel. I mean, game 2, we saw that happen too with the Poppy and the Jax and Nasus as well. Just having champions that can engage. So Tarleton definitely finding their team comp they want to play into the Blazers. In the meantime, Blazers do pick up Rumble and Varus. So they are looking to have another good team fight comp. I mean, again, having ultimates that can just stack on top of each other. I mean, we saw that in game 1, and it worked really well for them. And then in game 2, they weren't able to hit a lot of those AoE ultimates. So it's really going to be up to if this Rumble is able to find good ultimates. If Wukong is able to find them. Same with Yone and Varus. But lastly, we're going to see Garen for Tarleton. This is Bjordd's comfort pick. He does play it a lot. I mean, he's just a very strong champion, especially those TP changes. How you can always get TP. So with Garen, you can just take Ignite. I mean, it used to be a thing where you take Ignite, but then you can maybe get you won't be able to join the team fight since you wouldn't have TP. But with that issue being fixed due to the new quests and stuff like that, Garen just loves to take that into almost any matchup these days. Looks like we have started the draft on the client. So we are closing down to the final game of the day, as the last few people are picking or locking in their champions. We saw the draft. We saw what could happen. We're going to have to see if Tarleton going back to their original roles is also going to win in this series or not. Game 1 was pretty one-sided. Game 2, even though there wasn't too many kills, Tarleton held the reins the entire time, getting almost every objective, just losing that dragon, really, that third drag, but Tarleton didn't lose anything over it. Instead, they actually picked up 2 tier 1 towers, so we're going to see if Tarleton's able to do that same thing, where they either get the dragon or they get some other objective that can help, minimize the losses from losing one. It looks like we will see the Rumble is going top lane with the Yone going mid. I want to say Yone might have a slight advantage into Swain, especially whenever he gets an item or two. I mean, Yone is just really strong whenever he gets that first item. But Gimmick, he loves farming on that champion, just like the Nasus pick. And in game 1, the Noah on Blazers, he was able to really roam a lot on that Orianna pick, and that secured him a big advantage. But in game 2, whenever he was Ryze, he was barely able to ever leave the laning phase. The Nasus by Gimmick was just able to hold him back the entire time, which really helped his team just be able to breathe, especially in bot lane. It made Labubu and Val not have to worry about dying or losing too much in bot lane. So we're just going to have to see if Gimmick's able to do that same thing game 3, hold the Yone in lane, farm it out, scale, get strong himself, and potentially even do some roams. We saw a roam happen last game that ended up working out for Tarleton. We saw a couple just there to give them some space. And probably the lane I'm most forward to looking at is bot lane once again. We saw Labubu. Don't want to glaze too much, but he had a great performance in that second game. Definitely was one of the key members. I mean, his one-shot potential, taking out anyone that got trapped in his cage. Now he's playing Jinx with a Rel. Val going another CC heavy champion. On that Poppy, it found great success, so maybe Rel will do the same. Jinx, if she can do that one reset, that one kill, and get her passive proc, she'll get that attack speed and movement speed bonus, allowing her to run through and shred the rest of the enemy team. We will have our spectator delay here. Only matchup I'm not too knowledgeable about is top lane, as typical, as I don't normally play that role. But Rumble and Garen, I feel like Rumble, he's a really good pick as he can play very safe. He doesn't have mana, and his E's on a pretty low cooldown, so he's able to just use that to farm, kind of like how Mundo does with his Q. But Garen, you know, he wants to go in early, pick up some kills. I feel like Bjorddd just has to be a little bit cautious this time around, though. I mean, in both games, game 1 and 2, the enemy jungler found plenty of ganks top lane and is able to pick up a lot of kills. Now, in game 2, it didn't really matter too much as Cho'Gath got all the kills and wasn't able to do anything with it. But this game, if Rumble gets really fed or if Wukong gets really fed, both of those people with their AoE ultimates can really cause massive harm to Tarleton's, especially their bot lane, as a Rumble ult can just shred through an ADC or anyone squishy. But I will say, Tarleton, they do have a lot of beefiness in taking us to their team, so they should hopefully be able to survive any initial engage by the Blazers. I feel like that's probably their best bet, though, that they have is a Wukong ulting in with a Yone following up, and maybe the rest of their members trying to get some early kills in a team fight. But if Tarleton can survive that initial fight, that initial engage, should definitely give them some breathing room to come back. And like I said, if Jinx gets that one kill, proc her passive, be able to run them down. I'd like to see another clean game like in that game 2. I will say Blazers did a great job about not giving too many kills whenever they lost objectives. They were able to play safe and play disciplined to try not to lose too much. It wasn't really until that last dragon fight where Gimmick and Val the Grand were able to find that kill onto Hecarim. That was probably the biggest blunder by the Blazers, but I will say they did play a pretty clean game, low kill game. Those are always fun to watch because they are pretty close, and it's just down to whichever team is able to outplay the other team, whether it be from picks like that or win a team fight. Tarleton definitely does have their best team fighting comp today. I mean, it always helps having a true ADC into these team fights. And of course, they have a tank jungler and a tank support again. We're going to have to see if Schlitten decides to gank this game or not. He might just go ahead and farm like he did on Teemo last game, but secure these objectives. Personally, I'm always fine if my jungler doesn't gank as long as he's getting objectives, as those are what really allow you to scale and those what really matter in the end. Because just like we saw, just having a couple dragons allows you to delay the game 5 minutes every time. And that's how long it takes for a dragon to spawn. So as long as you can prevent the enemy team from getting soul, you're big chillin'. All right, well, we finally got through that spectator delay. And now we went straight into the game. I gotta say, this semester, it feels like the loading screens have gotten a lot shorter. I don't know if that's just because maybe they made some changes to the client, or every player just has a pretty decent PC they're playing on or something, but I want to say these feel so instant, which is always nice. I mean, get into the game, get into the action faster. So looking at all the summoners, this time Varus has decided to go with the Ghost. Now, you don't see it too often on ADCs anymore after especially Ghost got nerfed. However, it can be really good for ADCs like Varus that want to be able to auto-attack to get their passive procced and do plenty of damage. also got to run away from Tarleton's team comp when you got a Garen running after you and a Mumu and Swain. It's really scary because any single one of those people can get you caught and burst down and almost one shot. We'll say though, almost maybe Cleanse could have been better just to avoid the Amumu and Rel. But we'll just have to see if the Ghost benefits him or not. I'm expecting to see a lot of what we saw in game 2, just a lot of farming, except for maybe in top lane, still some fights breaking out, as both top laners do have the Ignite. Almost every game we see this happen, there's almost always a solo kill 3 minutes into the game. Ooh, Gimmick finding some really good poke on the Yone, get that early level 2 advantage, as he's landing all these Qs. Now Rumble does go in. He's fighting into a minion wave here. But it doesn't look to stay for too long as he just gets some poke damage with his E onto Bjorddd there. Ooh, Gimmick able to hit another nasty E there. Yone is going to try and match it up here as he E's in himself. Looks to get some damage out. Oh, but Gimmick, he lands another root. However, he does miss the Q. It probably could have put him down to kill range if he does land that. But still, having an early advantage like this does not hurt. Okay, that one does miss. Yone finally able to dodge one. Tarleton aware that they could be getting ganked here real soon. They go ahead and play a little bit farther back. Don't want to give up anything. They were able to do that really good in game 2 about just not dying and surviving all these ganks. As we've seen, this jungler has spent a lot of time on these side lanes. Mumu is down here as well. They see where the Wukong is, but for now Tarleton is going to look for a 2v2. The exhaust does come out from the Morgana. Okay, a bunch of flashes coming out. Morgana still has her flash, and we're going to see another early TP. We saw this happen in game 1 where the mid laner TP's down. It looks like it's going to benefit him as he's able to pick up first blood, as well as getting some double buffs. Val able to dodge a really suspicious Morgana Q. As Morgana's going to live with one hit. He gets the kill, but it looks like he will fall as well. Gimmick was able to get a little bit of a CS lead from that Yone roam. However, Yone still definitely got more gold in the end. Gimmick couldn't really follow up with that TP as he already used his TP to get back to mid lane. For now, Lubu was able to pick up a pickaxe. Very interested to see what he goes here for his first item. But Bjorddd will go ahead and get a free reset in. Picks up a longsword and boots. Now if Rumble resets you now, he might lose out on some CS. But in the meantime, Morgana is roaming as Varus did reset. She's looking to put some vision down, get some wards out. Morgana Q does hit Val. They're going to able to poke her a little bit and maybe get a tower plate here. Looks like they won't be able to finish it off as the tower has like 1 HP on it before it gets the plate. Bjorddd looking to get some poke out. I mean, really good time to do it as he is about to get level 6 as he gets it now. Might look for a dive maybe. There are some pings coming around of this dragon. Looks like the Wukong will just go ahead and reset. Oh, look, he did cancel his back. They do see Schlitten in the bot lane. Gimmick able to dodge another Yone. Or, sorry, the triple Q. As Rumble oversteps a little bit, Bjorddd looking to go for a solo kill while a fight breaks out in bot lane. Rumble did flash away, so he didn't get Garen ulted. Looks like he's going to ult the wave just to try and pick up some CS. But Garen already has another minion wave down here, so he's going to be able to look to shove that in. We do see the Wukong bot lane. Tarleton just going to have to run away here as Wukong picks up level 6 from the minions. Oh, Mumu is chunked from that dragon. But Gimmick is the first one to rotate, and he has ultimate. Wukong uses the ult to kill Schlitten. It looks like that's going to be it. Tarleton loses too. Schlitten just down half his HP from that dragon, and Wukong also does have the level advantage. Just allows the Blazers to go ahead and pick up their first dragon. I like the idea. Gimmick was there first on that rotate. Yone could not follow up. Schlitten was just too beaten up, and he engaged a little too early as that Ocean Dragon slowed down Gimmick from getting there. So far, Gimmick has been doing a great job about hitting these skill shots. He's been landing a lot of roots, which does matter as every time he does land his E, that little grab, it gives him a little bit of HP. That's how Swain stacks. Let's go and see how much he has right now. Yeah, he's already gotten 7 stacks, so an extra 100 HP. It may not seem like a lot, but it does add up fairly quickly. The grubs have spawned. Morgana is rotating for them. But Val is still bot lane, so they will have the numbers advantage. So Tarleton might just have to give the grubs. So for now, Val is rotating up here. Wukong trying to look for another extra level lead. Yone going in. Looks like a gank's happening on bot side. Varus is going to have to flash away to get away from Val. And now that they know Rel is back in bot lane, it looks like they're going to full send on the grubs. Bjorddd going in, poking down Rumble. Isn't able to trade too much. In the end, Rumble actually gets the better part of the trade in. Oh, okay, it looks like Garen's just full sending it. He uses the Ignite and the ultimate, and he gets a solo kill. So right now, Bjorddd is up 20 CS and picked up a solo kill. I mean, very good, especially when things aren't going quite just right on the bottom side of the map. Especially around that first dragon. Oh, Mumu does find a pick onto Morgana. He uses the ultimate to stun her into the Rel stun. And then Labubu is able to finish it off with an ult of his own. Now, Morgana was able to root Val the Grand long enough to allow Varus to pick up a kill. But still getting a kill onto Labubu is always massive. And with Schlitten still being bot side, it's going to force Varus not to be able to really chase this Jinx much longer. Should allow Labubu to get a free reset in. Hopefully a BF sword after getting that kill. Okay, so it looks like Labubu was able to finish his first item, and he did go with a C44. He will do extra damage the further the range he attacks from. It looks like Bjorddd is just looking for almost another solo kill onto Rumble. He doesn't have ult quite just yet, but now that Rumble is at this HP, Garen can just flash ult him whenever he wants. So So yeah, Rumble's just going to back because he knows he can't stay in that lane any longer. But all that's going to cause is Bjorddd to further his CS lead. Right now in bot lane, just some farming coming out. Varus is going the lethality build. He has gotten his first item as well. It does give him some lethality, but mainly what Ghostblade does gives you movement speed whenever you proc it. Ooh, Garen is behind this Rumble. Rumble did use his flamethrower, so he's not aware. Garen QE's onto him. Rumble flashes away. And now he's going to try to return the ultimate onto Garen. However, Garen will just take the damage as he can just always flash Q. And he does it. It is going to be enough to kill Rumble. Bjorddd picking up his second solo kill. This time, Wukong has not been ganking Bjorddd that much, so it's just allowing him to win these 1v1s and allowing him to build up this big lead. I mean, like I was talking about, Rumble, really skill-based champion as... Okay, I'm going to pause what I'm saying as there's a fight breaking out in bot lane. Oh, and it looks like that Morgana is able to win that fight after using her arm guard. Now, that is a one-time use until she does finish her Zonias, so she won't be able to use that for a bit. Yon is able to buffer that movement ult really good by using his own ult. However, it looks like in the end it's just a one-for-one trade. Gimmick picks up his first kill. But yeah, like I was saying, Bjorddd this game, he's finally able to show that he can kill the enemy top laner. He's been trying to prove it all night as he gets them down so low, but they always got saved by their jungler. But this game, so far, Wukong has not been able to do anything of it. Gimmick pops the ultimate. Wukong did his own ult. Shalin does die, but he's able to CC Wukong. Garen has joined the fight, and Jinx is here as well. If they can kill Yon here, that'll be a good start, as now Jinx proc the passive, looks to pick up a double kill, snipes the Wukong. Garen had to use TP, I believe, to come to this team fight, but it was definitely worth it, as not only do they get Blazers off Dragon, they're able to pick up multiple kills going onto Labubu. And looks like, oh, let's see who gets this Dragon. It's a little bit of a 50-50. And okay, Tarleton is able to secure it. It's really dangerous as Varus is walking up with his WQ, which can do up to like 600 damage, I think, at this point in the game, which is a lot more of a smite than what Tarleton had. But thankfully, Varus was a little bit slow on it, and Tarleton were able to secure that Dragon. So at first, looking like Tarleton was going to lose that, but instead they pick up kills for Labubu and get Dragon. Overall, very good outcome. As now Tarleton's looking to do more in this bot 2v2. However, it looks like in the end a bunch of flashes are going to come out. Labubu using all of his sums. However, the Blazers bot lane use both of their flashes as well. So I'd say a fairly even trade. This Jinx is now starting to get fed 4 and 2. So far, Gimmick has been playing this mid lane very well. Has not had a problem with this Yon quite yet. He's able to root him all the time and land those Ws like we just saw, just furthering his stacks and getting him more HP. Labubu's going to look for the reset. Probably has plenty of gold, especially after that fight that happened. Gimmick popping the ultimate. Yon might have just ulted into his own demise as Gimmick picks up the first kill. Schlitten ulting and allowing Gimmick to pick up another kill. I gotta say, so far, Schlitten has ulted 3 times, I believe, and all 3 of them have been really good as they've gotten kills. I feel like in the past, he was really hesitant to use his Amumu ult. He wanted to wait for the perfect time, but now he's just using it when there is an opportunity, and that's actually allowing Tarleton to capitalize and get kills off of it. So I gotta say, there is some major improvement from this Amumu gameplay that we have seen in the past. Definitely seeing our players, you know, learning from their mistakes and looking to get better, as now Schlitten has picked up yet another objective. I feel like in that second game and now in game 3, Schlitten has been doing a great job at doing that, about getting these early objectives when in the past not so much. So it's always great seeing improvement there. And now, after all that yapping, I did overshadow Bjorddd getting yet another solo kill. I mean, he now already has a 50 CS lead at 15 minutes. And now that Labubu is online as well, it's going to make it really hard for the Blazers to find an angle here, as the members of Tarleton are just getting more and more fed in their respective areas. Already a lot higher kill game than game 2. However, it has just as much action, as both teams are fighting almost every objective, and we're seeing a lot of fights happen in both the side lanes. As Rel looks to engage on this Varus. Varus will use his ghost to get away. Wukong has joined down in this bot fight. Lubu barely dodges that Varus ult. And Schlitten is here to help back up his team. However, it looks like they don't want to pressure too much more, as they do send back the members of the Blazers. It's like Yon is going to have to back up here. Well, actually, it looks like he's going to engage here on Gimmick. Gimmick forced to pop the ult. And looks like in the meantime, Val is looking for an engage here onto the Wukong. It looked a little spicy, so he just flashes away. Garen, after demolishing top lane, is able to look towards mid lane to help out his team. Wukong is still around this bot lane, wasting so much time and not accomplishing anything. Looks like Bjorddd is aware that Wukong is just sitting here, so he's going to follow up with his team. Varus was not aware of the Rel. Val gets another successful stun onto the Varus. Amumu flash ults the Varus. And Bjorddd tries to kill the Morgana with his ult. However, it's not enough. And looks like that'll be the end of that little mini team fight. I gotta say, very good roam by Bjorddd there. Able to stop the Blazers from really getting anything. Okay, that's a cool interaction. I don't know if y'all saw that, but Gimmick W, it hit Wukong and his clone and actually gave Gimmick both of those stacks. So kind of a 2-for-1 special right there. Gimmick doing a great job with these E's, like we've been seeing this entire game. As Garen is going to take this Rumble that is way overstaying and not even having to use his Ignite or his ultimate, even though he doesn't have it, he is able to pick up another solo kill. So far, this Rumble is not having a great game. And I forgot, we kind of need these objective timers. But Dragon has spawned. This is the third Dragon. As Tarleton, they look to just shred it down. And Schlitten is able to secure yet another objective as Wukong looks to go in on Jinx. However, he has his team to back him up. That's going to be one kill. Jinx has the passive looking for the Yone. As Gimmick just 1v2s the enemy bot lane. Going on a rampage. At the same time, Garen's looking for a tier 2. Tarleton, in just 19 minutes, they already have a 5k gold lead. They're able just to continue holding this lead and not give up any shutdowns. They'll definitely be able to close this one out soon. You never know what could happen. Blazers, they still have a really good team comp with the Yone, Wukong, and Rumble. They could look for some really good wombo combo ultimates. But so far, Tarleton has been able to avoid those plays, and they've been able to make plays of their own. As Bjorddd looks for another solo kill, he uses the Ignite, and he does use the ultimate just to make sure Rumble doesn't get away. Rumble now 0-5 as Bjorddd not only has that kill lead, he also still has that 50 CS advantage, so... And now it looks like he's just taking Wukong's farm, as we see over here in the jungle. Garen will now just make it... not only get himself more gold, but make it so Wukong doesn't get much. Varus uses the ult onto Rel. However, Val is able to dodge that Morgana Q. In comes Wukong. He has the black shield. Oh, a lot of people are going onto Labubu. It was a good Amumu ult as it hit all 4. However, Tarleton loses their bot lane, but Gimmick is here to clean it up as they end up trading 2 for 2. However, I will say that the Blazers did have to commit a lot of summoner spells. Varus using all of his sums, Morgana using her flash, and Wukong using their flash, while Tarleton didn't really use any of their own, except for the Gimmick TP there to secure those kills. We'll say it looks like Varus did get the shutdown on Jinx, so he'll definitely have a little bit of extra gold, but Labubu will still be ahead, especially whenever he finishes this Infinity Edge. He'll have that damage advantage. At this point, it's not even fair. Bjorddd just walks down this Rumble. He didn't even have a choice. I mean, I guess he could have flashed away at some point, but Bjorddd could have just followed it up. As Gimmick is getting engaged on in bot lane, he doesn't have his ultimate, so he doesn't have any survivability. However, he is healing from his passive, and he does have the slows. He will have another route now, but it may not be enough. He does get a little bit more heal. But Yone is able to finish him off, getting a massive shutdown. But Tarleton, I didn't even realize they took advantage of this and got Baron. So they lose 1, they lose a big shutdown. However, they more than make up for it by getting that Baron. And it looks like they're going to TP bot to protect that tower. They were able to find a good pick onto the Gimmick, but Tarleton able to make a good trade in return. I gotta say that's another thing Tarleton has gotten a lot better at over their time of playing, is just able to trade plays like that. I mean, they don't send TPs, they don't try to defend Gimmick, instead they just secure what they know they can get, and that is Baron buff. And Gimmick does a great job about surviving for a long time to pull their attention as long as possible. It looks like Tarleton is trying to play for this bottom tower. Right now, this Garen is level 17 compared to the level 13 Yone. It's got to make... I mean, also like the level 12 Varus. Imagine a Garen rocking up to you 5 levels above you with his ultimate. I feel like you can't survive that. Especially when he's going such a big damage build as he's getting Infinity Edge for his 3rd item. Jinx able to find a good W, chunking down this Morgana. Does the ult kill? No, but it does force the Morgana to use her Zhonya's. So that'll be on a long cooldown now. She won't have that for Dragon. As this Jinx continues to shred down the Blazers, gonna force them to probably give this Dragon unless they want to make a really risky play happen. Now, it does look like Wukong maybe wants to steal it, but Val is able to stop him from jumping over the wall. Yone does ult away. It looks like he will be able to get away, but he is extremely low. So yeah, they won't have any chance about getting subjective. Tarleton now 5k up on Soul Point. It's Infernal Soul once again. However, Tarleton have positioned themselves to have a lot better chance of actually getting the Soul. They know where the Wukong is. He's going to continue to farm. Ooh, that Morgana Q is able to find Gimmick. However, it looks like they aren't able to follow up that much. However, Valdegrande might be too deep in this jungle, as Wukong is able to find a kill. He doesn't have ult though. However, it may not matter. Oh, but Schlitten flashes in, saves Labubu. As he's trying to run away from this Rumble, it's not enough. However, I gotta say, almost a hero play by Schlitten there, able to keep Labubu long enough to at least get a kill. As Garen is now following up, Schlitten finds another one. Garen's gonna help clean this up with Gimmick. So far, very good team fights by Tarleton. I feel like they were on the losing side at first of that fight, as Valdegrande got caught super far away from his team. And then Labubu got engaged on, but Tarleton were able to recover from that fight. Schlitten being a key member there to help give Labubu the space he needed. I mean, they did end up falling, but they were able to pick up a lot of kills in return to not give up any of those kills for free. Let's see. Now, it looks like Varus did pick up one shutdown. Besides that, there isn't really any more shutdowns to give besides Garen's. But Bjorddd is holding on to that extremely tight and not wanting to give up that 1k bounty. I want to point out he has gathered almost 100 CS lead on Rumble. Not to mention the level lead. Gimmick finding another E, poking down the Yone. I mean, he himself also has an XP lead, just a 1 level lead onto the Yone. And then Labubu has finished his Infinity Edge, looking to go for his LDR. As Bjorddd ignites the Rumble, doesn't even need ultimate at this point. 1Q, 1E is enough to kill him. Tarleton has just been robbing Wukong of all of his jungle. This has allowed Schlitten to close that CS gap that was there. Now, practically even. Tarleton's doing a really good job about limiting the Blazers' resources, making sure they can't get much, and what they can get, they have to fight for it. Schlitten might be able to pick up his Frozen Heart Year. It's really good for teamfight potential, as it will reduce the attack speed of anyone close to the Swain. I mean, so that's really good, especially into the Varus, Yone, Wukong. All of them are auto attackers. So be able to slow them down will just reduce their overall damage. I feel like once Labubu gets this LDR, he'll definitely become really strong, especially since he can finally take down that Wukong that keeps engaging on him in the back line. As Bjorddd looking for the 1v2, however, it looks like he might have bit off more than he can chew, as he ends up dying, giving the 1k bounty over to Wukong. Probably thought he did a lot more damage, but with the shield bow on the Yone, it gives him enough shielding to keep him alive long enough to get his combo off, and he's able to end up killing Bjorddd. Dragon will be spawning in 40 seconds here. Now, Wukong hasn't reset yet, even though he got the 1k bounty. He is trying to. He might finish his Trinity Force here. Let's see if he does. Yeah, okay, so it looks like Gimmick is able to keep stopping his back. So Wukong is less than half HP. But Dragon spawning in 10 seconds if he backs right now. Gimmick stops his back again! At this point, Wukong's losing his mind. His back got stopped 4 times. I mean, if you ever played League and you got your back stopped that many times, you know how annoying that is. Gimmick's W is putting in overtime, as this Wukong is under half HP for this dragon fight, and this is Soul. So if Tarleton are able to get this dragon, I mean, they'll have that Infernal Soul. Wukong looking to get in there, uses his W to escape. This allows Tarleton to get their Dragon Soul. At this point, if Tarleton were already lacking damage, then they definitely don't anymore. As the Tarleton's looking to engage here. They got the level 19 Garen. Oh, but that Wombo combo coming out from the Blazers shreds through Tarleton, even though they have the Infernal Soul. They are able to stack up all their ultimates to just put down massive damage. Now, Tarleton didn't have Labubu there, which is one of their main sources of damage. It looks like Gimmick might have helped pick up a kill on Varus. He tries to flash away, but it's not enough. In the meantime, Labubu just picks up an inhibitor tower, as well as an inhibitor, and he flashes the Varus Q! And he gets a kill of his own. Now he's looking for more, and he picks up a double kill! Labubu 1v2s them! As he looks to continue on destroying this base, they have Gimmick and Bjorddd nearby, so he knows that the enemy... He knows where they are. So he's going to continue to push. It looks like Tarleton is pinging this Baron buff. They know that they don't have a jungler and they don't have a mid laner after Labubu just deleted them in that 1v2. I mean, he's able to flash that Yon Q, which is very clean, and then he just destroys them from there. I mean, he has that LDR, exactly what I was talking about. Now that he can shred these tanks, there isn't really much stopping him unless he gets CC'd to death. If he can just get some lifesteal so he can just stay alive forever, that'll be perfect. Does Tarleton pick up their second Baron this game? They now have an 8k gold lead with the Infernal Soul. And Jinx went ahead and picked up the Hurricane. He does have the 125% crit build, even though the crit does max out at 100. So he's neglecting some of those stats. However, I mean, this item is still very strong in the end, especially into a melee comp like the Blazers have. Being able to spread that damage with the Hurricane, sending out those extra auto attacks. Looks like the Blazers are trying to TP to defend their base. This might very well be the last team fight, as Tarleton closes in, using their siege minions to start poking down at that tower. Want to say the Blazers have to engage here, but I feel like almost any engage might be devastating. Labubu does get chunked down, but Amumu finds two of them, and the Jinx rocket finishes them off, getting a double kill going on. Yon ults in, but it's not enough as Jinx picks up another kill, looking for the penta, and he gets it! Labubu gets a pentakill on the Jinx, and they end the game. Tarleton, they lose game one, but they win the next two, and they win the series. Very well played by our Texans today. Able to come back, especially after that game one, able to pick it up and just end it out with a pentakill nonetheless. Gotta say, shout outs to Schlitten. He's increased his Amumu gameplay by a ton. That was really clean. He's using those ults a lot better. Gimmick being corny, you know, he's constantly Wing that Wukong, denied him resetting for an entire minute, which allowed them to get the freest soul of all time. And then, of course, Labubu and Val in bot lane, able to secure game 2, able to secure game 3 with their gameplay. Overall, very good games today. Besides that, I mean, yeah, I think that's it for today. A beautiful best of 3. We love to see it. Tarleton, they did the reverse role swap, but they were able to find great success on it. But GG's, the enemy team, they did great. But yeah, Tarleton was able to secure the W tonight. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope to be able to see you guys next time. And yeah, that's it tonight.